All right, guys, welcome to Phaser Friday. We've got season 2, episode 2, a big episode coming up with Rafael, owner of BuildXMedia. Before we dive into that interview, I want to thank one of our season 2 sponsors, and that is Musk Miners. Musk Miners is based out of Grand Forks, North Dakota, and is owned by Blake and my favorite cousin, Chris. Musk Miners provides US-based Bitcoin and crypto miner sales, hosting, installation, and consultation services. If you're like me and you don't know much about cryptocurrency or how to get into it or even what it is, Blake and Chris do a great job of explaining things and answering questions and teaching you about the industry. They're two young guys that are so passionate about the industry and are very, very knowledgeable. They started Musk Miners to really help people get into the industry and bridge that gap while really being transparent and honest in their work. There's a lot of scams out there in the cryptocurrency world. So Musk Miners is based off of trust, and they're US based, and they have their cell numbers and their faces on the website. So you know everything about them. You can ask questions anytime. They're very, very awesome to work with and happy to help you. So if you're very, very new to cryptocurrency or you're looking to ramp up your game, reach out to them, check out their website, check out their social media. You can find them on muskminers.com and also find all their contact information on there. So thanks again, Blake and Chris. Couldn't do this without you and your guys' support towards Phaser Marketing, as well as the podcast and Phaser Friday. Thank you guys for being a sponsor of season 2. Couldn't do it without you guys. And with that, we are going to dive into the episode here. We got Rafael with BuildXMedia. Let's go. All right, guys, welcome to Phaser Friday. We've got a very special guest today. We've got Rafael Guel on the show. He is the owner of BuildXMedia. How we doing, brother?
Hey, man. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Absolutely. We got to, you answered the call. I gave you, very, very short notice, which is my bad, but here we are.
No, not a problem. Ready to go.
Yeah. Did I give you 2 days or something like that?
Yeah. I was expecting to be the May the May guest. I got moved up the list apparently.
Absolutely. Yeah. And here we are sitting on the April episode, and we're just going to dive right into it. So, for our listeners, if you don't mind just kind of jumping into, talking a little bit about who you are, where you're from and what you do in your business.
Yeah, dude. I'm Rafael Guel, also known in the low streets as the Builder Filmer. I'm a civil engineer. I'm a business and marketing developer. I'm an enthusiast for construction technologies and innovation. And I run a digital agency for the construction companies of the future here in Kingston, Ontario, Canada, called BuildXMedia. Our mission is to inspire the building of the future. We help companies as a plug-and-play media and marketing department for today's fast-moving world. We're helping companies adopt and adapt to new technologies like management, communication, automation technologies. As we say, build smarter, not harder. We also are helping humanize these organizations by awakening the company consciousness and the culture development. That's pretty much it.
I love that. And, you and I, I'd been following some of your stuff for a little while now, but just recently had reached out to you and, I'm like, hey, let's jump on a Zoom call or something, because I feel like we have a lot in common. And we did, a few weeks ago, and just absolutely hit it off, which wasn't a surprise because I saw your enthusiasm and your positivity, whether it's LinkedIn or Instagram, when you're talking about your business or posting for your clients. And I just, really want to work with like-minded people, because it can get not lonely, but it's tough, and you can't just go through your business by yourself. So I love to surround myself with people that, are passionate about the industry and also about business, and really a mission to, like you said, just advance this industry. And so I want to talk a little bit about, your business journey, because, you've been doing this for a while, but recently, I mean, you're full time now. So talk a little bit about that and what that transition's like.
So a little bit about my story of how this all came along. Um, my mother, she's an architect. My dad is a civil contractor. So I was up on excavators and backhoes since day one, and job sites. So it was very natural to me to be drawn to construction. And in my mind, it was always so clear, like I knew what I wanted to do. And so I went to university and studied civil engineering. And and working all my life in summers in the family business. My main job was when I hit high school, I was getting more clients for the heavy equipment. So my job was literally back in the day, have some posters and go paste them all around construction sites, like excavator rental and things like that. So in my mind was always like, how can I make my job easier?
Yeah.
So when I started university, I was always I was always drawn to technology and my mind always tried to come up with innovative ways to sell. And we had Facebook and things like that. But one day I tried the idea of like, I'm going to make the Tinder for heavy equipment. And I'm talking back in 2008, there wasn't a lot of contact and a lot of startups around that yet. So that's where it all started. I hit one of I started talking about it with one of my friends, and we started developing an app called Constructorio. In English would be like directory in construction, constructory, let's call it. So my idea was to make a marketplace for contractors. At the end, make my life easier and get rentals online. That was pretty much it. Back then, there was only listings for heavy equipment, for example. So that's how the idea started. And I think I was 22, I think. Didn't know anything about developing an app, developing technology, startups, nothing. So going in very naive and learning by the hits of life and failing. Then the whole initiative, the momentum took us. Well, we realized that what we were trying to do was not easy at all, because once you start looking at it, it's like, damn, okay, yeah, you can make the contact with someone that has an excavator.
Right.
Yeah, but then how is the insurance gonna work? What happens if someone steals the machine? All these things come up. But the momentum of me and my friends, my co-founders, was still on the roof. So all the momentum took us to evolutionize the project again inside the contact environment. And we came up with the first marketplace for construction materials with on-demand delivery in Mexico, called Builder, kind of like Fiverr. It was Bilderr. So with that one, we kind of did it right. With the Constructory, we big time failed, like naive entrepreneurs. And with Builder, we kind of started doing, we read books, we did the homework, we took everything very lean, and we landed a pre-seed, I think it was like 70,000. I don't know. It got us started.
Right.
And that's where I started doing marketing for the startup.
Right.
At the same time, well, credit where credit is due. I saw Aaron Witt, a guy my age, awakening a whole industry, and I was like, damn, like it motivated me for sure to start trying to find solutions and create a better construction world from my trench. it was very motivational for sure. So all that, it motivated me as back then, 23-year-old to say like, okay, I can, if there's people doing cool things in a huge industry, we can do things, right? So starting up Builder really took us to get to know a lot of people in the content industry. We sat down with investors, VCs. It got all started, and as a startup founder, you have to do everything. You have to learn everything.
Right.
Have to go deep. So that's where I fell in love with marketing, and I saw a lot of potential in like, okay, regardless of what I do, I like this. I really like that. I'm also a big Gary Vaynerchuk
Oh yeah.
enthusiast and fan. The gospel of Gary V,
Yeah.
and one of the things he said once, it was treating every business as a marketing first business. So regardless the product, regardless the service you're in, you should treat every idea as if you were a marketing agency,
Mm-hmm.
So before having even the real product, run it through the marketing first. Do the marketing homework. Do the benchmark. How are you gonna sell this thing? Do you need to partner with influencers, other channels? Right. Get the branding right. So finding the solution for the marketing first, and then jump into the next step, to the product or execution. Because you can have the best product or the best service, but if you have bad marketing, you have nothing. And if you twist that, you maybe have great marketing and have a crappy service, but you sold yourself great. So obviously nobody wants that, right. But proves the point of like, you have to have good marketing. So in my mind, I was like, I've always been drawn to starting small businesses and try little ideas and whatever comes to mind. So I was like, what if I have my own media agency and marketing agency? Mm-hmm. Then whatever comes my way, I'll be able to deploy it from this and run it through my little engine of marketing, and from there. So that's how it started. So we had to shut down Builder after COVID hit. We didn't raise capital. We didn't have the liquidity to keep going. Mm-hmm. So we shut down, and it was for the first time that I was able to get my head up and look like, okay, there's more to life than just working all day for a startup. And that's when BuildXMedia started. It started for me trying to do marketing for my family's business and my friends' businesses. And then the brand kind of like started moving, and I was like, oh, this is good. So other construction companies started to reaching out, and that's how I moved to Canada to help a construction company get their marketing together and get started on setting the marketing for them. And then I kept going. BuildXMedia kept going over here, and I was able to get in contact with more clients, and that's where we are now.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy to hear your story and like just the ups and downs, because a lot of people, most people understand that, in entrepreneurship, there's just all these ups and downs and craziness. And it's important to realize that, and it's not going to be a straight shot up, and it's not ever easy. And I like how you brought up Aaron Witt, and obviously, he's a big player in the industry, but it's so unique because he's such a great guy, and he truly just wants to like help this industry, and he's on this mission. So, I've gotten to talk with him. I know you have, and you just get to see like his passion, and it's like, man, how can we help? And, it's almost like we're all in this. Yeah. You're all in this together in a sense of like, it's in my mind, there's zero competition, especially when you're global or in the country, because there's just too much business to go around that need to be helped. You and I have talked about that too, of, our client base. And it's like, yeah, how can I help you? And how can you help me? And just, it's really, how can we help this industry? And I think that's you got to come from that, from your foundation instead of just, shooting for even like the money comes if you have that solid foundation of trying to help the industry. But, you got to set your principles straight. And a lot of it is in the people you work with and the people you network with.
Oh yeah. Yeah. As you said, this thing is, well, the whole industry has been the same all across the world. So making the dirt world a better place. Well, for me, it was always kind of like, well, I assume the dirt world as the construction, even though that obviously emphasizes more like excavation, mining, and the actual dirt. But I feel it's all connected, like construction. BuildXMedia, we have had most of our clients are residential builders, for example, people that are building homes, and we are all struggling in the same problems. We are all suffering from labor shortage,
Right.
more here in Canada than the States.
Yeah.
At least States has Mexico closer. Shout out to all the
Yeah.
Mexicans, all the Mexicanos chingones working in building America. Yeah. So yeah, it was easy to, well, it was very motivating to see like, okay, this is a huge mission, and we one person is not going to solve it,
Right.
So it's very refreshing to connect and grow the network of people attacking and doing attacking the same problems and trying to have the same initiatives all across, well, in this case, North America.
Yeah, definitely. And it's fascinating to see. Yeah. When you talk to yourself, myself, Aaron, even, Forrest with Eagle Eye Productions and Daniel Yates, and you talk to all these guys and you realize that there's this passion here, and you can't work with every single business. So it's like, okay, where do you work best and how can I like refer people your way, and really just finding out, where your strengths are, and, niching down into those strengths and really becoming the best at it. And then, if there's something where you're not very great at, look at referring out to some of these other guys that can really take care of these clients. And it's built like this ecosystem of just like great business people that are on fire for this industry. So it's been fascinating. For me, we officially niched down probably like 6 or 8 months ago, something like that. And, Phaser's been going on for a few years now. And my world has opened up now that we're specific in the dirt world. And it's an amazing industry. And I guess, what makes it different, and why do you love working in the construction space?
I think that there isn't a more exciting time to be in this industry than right now. And on top of that, it's the most exciting time to be in this industry and be young, because we're gonna see this industry go bananas. I'm so excited for what's coming in our lifetime, and how construction is gonna evolve, and how technology it's gonna come, and well, it's already here, and change the game. I heavily believe that things are gonna go bananas, like in the good sense, like construction as we know it and the traditional way of building, it's going to change so much in the next years. My personal mission as a civil engineer, I was like, okay, I want to make a construction company, but the construction company in my mind, it's not even real yet, or I want to build a construction company of the future, pretty much relying completely, testing the idea of relying completely in automation and technology. For example, a very disruptive construction company. That's a goal in my life. I don't know how far am I from that, but that's where my imagination goes, with all the things that are coming, the 3D printings, the modular construction. There's a lot of things going on. I try to deep dive into the new things that are coming, the new companies, the new startups around the construction, bringing innovation. For example, there's a new company called Sky Mule, I think, and they're automating drones to tie the rebars of a steel grid. You know, like that was one of the most painful things for a human to do, just being hours under the sun, just tying stupid nuts around rebars. And now, thank God, there's a drone that you just let it free and starts tying these things. So I think that robotics definitely are gonna come and alleviate some of the difficult tasks for people. Also, I think that, well, facing the labor shortage that we're having, technology. Yes, the thing that, for example, I'm gonna throw some numbers on the table to make to give this some value here. I have numbers from Canada. Approximately 228,000 individuals will be entering the industry over this next 10 years. But in this next 10 years, the industry is gonna lose 260, leaving a recruitment gap of 31,000 workers. But then, if you couple that with the demand of growth, you're talking about 80,000 individuals that the industry is going to need. And for example, what we're doing, helping companies become more conscious and more attractive for recruitment. Yes, that's the first thing that the first solution we need to address, and creating better environments for working and creating better culture and having everyone not having that kind of cowboy culture, which is fine, but it's really scaring some people out, and so it's adapt or die. That's definitely the thing that we have to do, and we're doing. But over the next 5 years, it is very unlikely that we are going to be able to bring enough people into the workforce to solve the labor shortage. At least here in Canada, it's looking tough. So that's where tech, it's becoming very attractive. There's some McKinsey analysis that supports that, shows that higher bringing robotics into the construction will increase, obviously, the productivity and autonomy, and will add around $1.6 trillion to the construction global value. So we're about to see the construction go bananas, in my mind. I'm a little futurist, but I get excited by thinking the way that workers and builders are going to be assisted with. I saw a video of a robot, a humanoid robot, but this thing was grabbing a piece of wood, putting it and nailing it down with his gun hand. It was like, okay, well, yeah, sure. Leave the robots that, so it's going to be also very interesting to see how the work and how the jobs in the construction are naturally going to evolve. We can see that in the dirt world already. We're having heavy equipment totally autonomous, well, not totally autonomous, but remotely controlled. So like, okay, at least, well, they're starting with the skid steers, but I know there's also dozers already, remote control. So that's natural how now the operators are becoming now Fortnite players, quote unquote, kind of. But it's, I think it's, rather than being scared of like, carpenters are going to lose their jobs. No. It's let's position ourselves in the other side. Like, these robots are going to need expertise and human inputs. At the end, machines are machines. You put something in, and someone has to put the information, right? So it's a very interesting time. I couldn't be more excited.
Yeah, it's so interesting. And it's cool to hear your point of view on it too, because, you just can dive into the future of construction, and not saying that you're not saying it's a guarantee, but you can feel that shift kind of making its way. And so what you see is this future of, okay, like that drone, it's just, they have the capabilities and they can do it. And it's just a matter of when. And then, for us, it's not all a bad thing. There are some bad things that come with anything, but really the biggest problem right now that we're seeing and that you're seeing is this labor shortage. And so what we're trying to do is, market their companies to attract the younger generation and bring in the new influx of workers. So, you're going to need people no matter what, but also the robots and the technology can certainly help the way we do business.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a human first industry.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that forever. Even is the same example as it's just going to change the way we do things. And maybe
Sure.
now the heavy tasks and the painful stuff now, yeah, if leave that for the robots and humans, let's transition to more decision making, something that you wouldn't trust I wouldn't trust a autonomous a dozer. I don't know. It gets hacked and just smashes anything. You never know. We need humans. That's the bottom line. But yeah, it's gonna be very, very interesting. You can see that with, for example, what was an architecture 20 years ago? It was someone that literally dragged a pencil across a paper and drew plans and blueprints. Now, an architect, it's a purely digital task, purely digital design, no paper, and pretty much you have to be a computer geek nowadays to be in construction. So we are all moving, even operators. I love how now I'm used. The only excavators that I've been into have no technology of computers that tell you the level or how deep you can go. I haven't had the chance to see that live. I've seen videos, but I found that exciting. It's making our jobs easier.
Absolutely. It's making it easier and more accurate. And if you can do that in a way that, makes you more efficient, I mean, it's tough to argue with wanting that. So I'm going to try and, transition a little bit here more towards BuildXMedia. So, you are open for business essentially. So who is your client that you're looking for? If you could just describe your perfect client sitting there, who would that be and what would their demographic be looking like?
Well, we're looking for the construction companies of the future. We have created a lot of synergy with companies that are, obviously one of the signs is they get social media and they get the power of how companies need to adapt. And as you said it, how can we make this attractive for the next generation? The tech industry has done a great job with that. It's our turn. So yeah, companies that have a sense of today's world, it makes it makes it easier to be on the same page. And companies that are implementing technology in some way, not necessarily, but it's very cool to bring new ideas to the table and being able to, we find at BuildXMedia a lot of value in using technology, even if it's communication. How are you communicating with your team? Right. What tools are you using to manage your projects? So right. Any company that has a vision and are not scared into adapting new technologies and testing, because it's we're all up for that. But yeah, mainly that we're constantly trying to figure out at BuildXMedia, okay, what should we right now we have companies in the excavation area, a couple of residential, should we micro niche, or personally I would like to to work with startups in the construction, in the contact environment, and a lot of designers and engineers in the BIM, all the modeling, all these visualizations, renders. I love that. So yeah, anything that has some innovation sauce on it.
Absolutely. Yeah. It sounds so. Are you thinking just in Canada for now, or are you going down into the States or Mexico, or what kind of, where's your region?
Yeah. Well, my first clients were, I'm from Mexico. So my first clients were in Mexico. And now that I'm here, they're like, well, whenever you come back, please, let's do some videos.
Yeah.
I'm like, sure thing. Yeah, we're trying to grow mainly here in Ontario right now, because we're trying to grow right.
Yeah,
we don't want to grow and not being able and not be able to deliver what we want to deliver with our services. But yeah, a lot of services that don't demand travel. Well, it might be expensive to fly us out to the States. Depends where. Maybe New York is close to Ontario. Yeah, we're open for business anywhere.
And I mean, I would just say you don't want to sell yourself short either, because I've seen your work and a lot of people have seen your work, and you guys do killer shots. And so it's like, if you just throw your fee out there and just say, to get us on site in New York or Boston or wherever their company is, you just set your price and you factor in your overhead and your profit and what you need to have a successful business. Honestly, like a lot of businesses, if they believe in what you do, they'll say, no problem. Jump on the next flight out here.
This was just a free Facer consultation. Appreciated it.
Oh,
yeah. I'm going to do that for sure. We're going to do that.
Absolutely. And it's just not everyone's right for your price too. And I guess I've learned that, growing through the business of just own your prices. And then what we've done, which we're similar to what you do, but then when you explain it, you realize how different we are. And we just do digital marketing for excavation companies in between the $1 to $10 million in revenue. And the reason we stuck that revenue mark on there is because we realized that our fees were pretty high for somebody that was, maybe in the $300,000 range. And it just, that relationship was a little bit tougher because, each night they were, thinking about that money that was going out, where we wanted the relationship where it was long-term vision the whole way. And the monthly fee didn't affect them as much as far as like their, day-to-day stuff. So the 1 to 10 million, we realized, okay, once they hit this point, they have X amount free cash flow. Typically, they've got this many employees, they've got, you kind of figure out the industry and then you set your prices towards that. And that's helped us. And it's also helped us talk to other companies, like you and Aaron and these other guys in the industry. And we're like, we do 1 to 10 million. Like that's who we work with. Who do you work with? Who's your perfect ideal customer? Because honestly, if we have I had I think it was like a $30 million company that I was talking to the other day, and they weren't like asking to hire us really, but I asked them questions about like, okay, what's your marketing situation like? And for them, they already had a full marketing department, which didn't surprise me. And that just shows that that's why we're not a good fit, because we love working with the companies that, maybe is 3 employees to 20 employees where they don't have a built out marketing team and they need help doing it. So we, kind of just established that. And then those bigger companies will refer out to certain agencies, and the smaller companies, that are under $1 million, we'll either keep sending them advice and tips and helping them get to the $1 million. Or if they need something now, we'll send them to another agency. So it just really helps working with having good people in your corner to be able to send business to.
Oh yeah. And I love that. Yeah. Defining sounds weird, but who can afford you? Because it is real. It is real that I've also done like freelancing jobs for like creative jobs. And it's funny how you can see it like sometimes when it's someone like an individual paying for like editing a video. They're trying, I don't know, you're asking for 3,000, $300. They're like, oh, can you do 250? Like,
Yeah.
come on. And then companies are just like, oh, 300. Yeah. Huh. You know,
Yeah.
it's the same at different scale, obviously.
Totally.
But
And it's, yeah, that's so funny you bring that up, just because, sometimes, the lower paying clients can be, the most work, and the higher paying clients, it's like, oh yeah, sent the invoice, or, sent the
yeah,
payment. And
yeah,
it, not that lower paying clients are bad, but you just also have to kind of own which market you're in. Are you going for volume, like more clients, or are you going for less clients, higher dollar value? And then you just roll with it from there.
yeah, totally. Yeah, that's, uh, I think we kind of did that indirectly. Like
Mm-hmm.
we started knocking on the doors that we knew were in the range that, like, big companies that more than 10 employees,
Yep.
definitely, and companies that are out there building big things. But yeah, definitely taking it in consideration.
Absolutely. And then kind of want to switch gears one more time here and talk about, we mentioned it earlier, just about people in business. So if you could just touch on why and how people are so important in business, like whether you're trying to grow your company or grow somebody else's company through
Yeah.
marketing, like what is it about people that you should have your focus on?
Good question. I I've always done businesses thinking in marketing, thinking that there's no businesses, there's people.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, there's people doing business with more people. Maybe they're a
Yeah.
group of people, but there's people. So at the end, I've always tried to approach business with as the most human, or as the most approachable. With all the partners that we work with in the first discovery session that we have, I really try to place ourselves as another employee. Like, you just hired us for your company, like we work in your company
Mm-hmm.
as a part of the team, and creating that direct bond, uh, like shoulder to shoulder, and getting to know these people. I add everyone on social media. Like
Yeah.
I like to get to know the real persons. I find a lot of value there, and it's mutual, like
Yeah.
being open, and like, this is who I am. Any questions, please feel free to ask me. And having that sense, I think it's very important. So yeah, creating strong relations are important. Of course, business is business.
Mm-hmm.
You can do business with your friends, with your partners, with everyone, but business is business, and being responsible on those lines, um, without involving the personal relationships in.
Right.
It's important. But yeah, I think it should be the number one way to do business. Like, become approachable, be human, like
Yeah.
empathize, and create that relationship. Yeah, prioritize the relationship.
Right.
Maybe the business won't go doesn't do good because things change. They don't need the service anymore, or whatever happened, the business shuts down. But having that relationship, uh, it's forever.
Yeah, definitely. And just, yeah, taking care of people, that includes your team, that includes yourself, that includes your clients, even people that aren't your clients. Be a good person, be approachable, like you're saying, because maybe 90% of the people you talk to aren't ever going to be a client of yours, but it doesn't mean you just, treat them like crap and then
Yeah,
kick them to the curb. Don't burn any bridges, and be a
yeah,
good person, because a lot of times those are the people that are sending you referrals, or those are the people that are shouting your business's name. So,
yeah,
yeah, to me, it's a no brainer of just taking care of people. And I don't know if you do this in your business, but we vet our clients pretty heavily, and we want to make sure that they're doing the things right, as far as, like, are they delivering on their projects? Are they taking care of people? Or do they have a horrible reputation of, screwing people over or burning all these bridges. It's,
Yeah.
we want to work with the people that are doing it right at the core, because in my opinion, there's no amount of marketing that can kind of save that for the long haul. Maybe in the short term,
no.
you can see the money come in, but for the long haul, people see right through that. So.
I fun story. Well, I first started my professional career in Mexico. And it's funny, not to go political, right? But moving here to Canada, I found that, man, doing like the best business owners that I've met, they're the best business owners because they do things right. Like their main goal is not to screw someone over.
Sure.
Their main goal is to keep things right. And I love that, because that social pressure is based on doing good. You do good, people will refer you.
Right.
You bring goodness, you're going to move forward, you know? And yeah, it's a lot of contrast. Coming in Mexico, it's not usually like that. Like there's a lot of cases of like, you're like, oh, this son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Everyone knows it, and still, doing great. But I like that, at least in I like systems where goodness is applaud.
Yeah, totally. And it's just, you, like you said, you just kind of compared it of like the best business owners, just like they get it and they just take care of people, and they want to take care of their business and themselves and their people, and just do good, do good things. So
Yeah.
One thing I was thinking about the other day is, how are you so positive?
I think I'm grateful. I'm grateful. And that is the main fuel for my positivity. I don't know. I don't know if I've seen terrible things happen. Like I've seen too much shit, that just being very conscious of like, man, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I get to wake up and do what I like and help others, help companies, be in the industry that I love, building the future. Like how can I, obviously then daily things can stress and overwhelm, but just relying on whenever you go on a dark thought, like be grateful. Like, man, it's 1 in a trillion, the statistic to be alive. Like, yeah, screw it. Go for an ice cream. You're alive.
Yeah.
Don't stress about it. Down to the bottom line. So yeah, gratefulness for me. And that fuels my positivity.
Yeah, I love that, man. And I just, gratitude, and also, just perception on, you could view any situation as a bad thing or a negative, in your life, but you can also do the opposite, and you could say, okay, well, what is good about this situation? And yeah, like you said, not everything is rainbows and roses every single day, but it's your bigger picture, your perception, your why, why are you doing this? How are you doing this?
That was one of the values that I try to push in BuildXMedia heavy. Be positive, but being positive doesn't mean that you have to be happy and agreeing with everything. Doesn't mean that. Being positive means to bring your enthusiasm. Like bring you can like try to think the most positive way, like be micro pessimistic, but micro pessimistic, but macro optimistic.
Yeah.
Like that's the only way to move forward. Being micro pessimistic, it makes you evaluate like, okay, what if this goes wrong? But you won't go anywhere if you're thinking that this will fail. So you have to be optimistic.
Absolutely. Big picture.
Yeah.
So last question here before we wrap up. So for people listening, maybe they want to start a business, maybe they are in marketing and they want to kind of start an agency, maybe they're in the construction space, they want to start an excavation company. What would you say, what would be a piece of either branding advice or business advice that you'd give to somebody that hasn't yet started a business that really wants to?
Okay, I'm going to take an approach on general business.
Yep.
So I believe that happiness and fulfillment do not come from pleasure, but from meaning and purpose. And I was actually talking to one of my friends the other day who was struggling like professionally, like not liking what he was doing, not knowing where to go. So I think having that, pausing whatever you're doing and having that moment to have some introspection and figuring yourself first to know like what do you want to do, what makes you happy. A simple exercise: if you had to start your YouTube channel right now, what would you talk about? Like honestly, like what could you talk about for hours and be entertained and happy? And maybe that, and some for some people that might not be a business idea or even business, maybe it's art, but it really taps on the passion, and that's where you kind of want to focus or follow the light. Like maybe not all passions can become a business, but maybe tapping or stepping into your passion can open the doors alongside and be like, oh, that's a good business opportunity, and it's about painting that I love, you know. Who knows? So introspection would be my tip. Kind of like figure yourself first. What gives you meaning? What gives you purpose to get out of bed? And from there, seeing if it aligns with your current business, or try to make it fit it into your business idea or your new business. At the end, businesses should be the vehicle to your mission, to your purpose. So I think aligning that, having the time to sit down and introspect on what makes you happy. And if you're young, like do it. Like it would there we have the time to risk it. Like we have the time to have the craziest ideas or the craziest passions and try to do them and maybe fail. Who cares? But going for it.
Rafael, I appreciate that answer a ton. I mean, it's just, you can hear the bigger picture of just the passion and finding your why and doing it, especially like you said, if you're younger and you're thinking about it, I hate to say it's not as hard as it looks, but just getting your first foot in and talking about something that interests you, you can definitely do it. So as we wrap up here, what's a good way for people to contact you, people to follow along with what you're doing, either personally or at BuildXMedia? Like, how can people find you and reach you?
We are in all platforms and social media as BuildXMedia, and you can follow my personal account, Builder Filmer, to follow my adventures in the construction world. I'm still not following Gary V's advice to post 4 TikToks a day. I'm trying.
That's a lot, but yeah,
that's a lot, but we're all trying. So BuildXMedia and at Builder Filmer.
Wonderful. Well, hey man, I appreciate it. I appreciate the time you took out of your day to jump on Phaser Friday and just the expertise, the insight, the perception you give. I love having these conversations with you. I'm excited to continue these on for many years to come. And
hopefully, brother.
And I'll be seeing you at Con Expo. So.
Oh yeah, Con Expo 2023. Let's go.
Let's go.
Thank you, Luke. Thanks for the space and for the time. Thanks for all the Phaser team that make this happen. Thanks.
Absolutely, man. We'll be seeing you soon.
All right.